Welcome back to the Road Show. This morning in the Buzz, the East Greenwich Town Council is trying to adopt a new townwide ordinance against bullying. Here's the proposed plan. It would allow police to intervene in cases where repeated comments or threats, either in person or through the internet, cause emotional distress to an individual. The ACLU, though, is saying not so fast. They are advising the town council not to adopt this ordinance. They say that the proposal is too vague and could intrude on free speech. Town officials who drafted the plan say the intent is to allow authorities to intervene before incidents escalate to a criminal level. Now, the ordinance would not focus on punishment. Instead, it would focus on counseling and programs to help bullies change their behavior. The ACLU, though, thinks the plan will create more problems than it solves, and it also, they say, raises those First Amendment concerns. All right, well, first of all, guys, what do you think about the ACLU's concerns? Do you think they're valid?
No.
I agree. Michaela?
I was just going to say, expand on that. Why don't you feel like they're valid?
Well,
It's time to side, in my mind, with the people who are being persecuted. Let's not come to the defense of the bullies.
Sometimes the ACLU and other organizations, they talk about First Amendment and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to tweak this sometimes, because we're talking about First Amendment. We're talking about this was written for, you know, a gazillion years ago. I'm just going to use the, obviously I'm exaggerating.
Right.
But things need to be tweaked. When this, you can't just blanket the First Amendment over every single issue, especially when times are a-changing, you know? So that's why I think that, you know, I understand where the ACLU is coming from. Free speech, yeah, we're all for it. We wouldn't have jobs if there wasn't such a thing.
Of course, right.
But, you know, if people are dying, people are getting, you know, killing themselves over
you know,
bullying.
and we also, bullying, as you
Scary.
know, is being taken to a new level with the other ways to bully, like the internet,
Cyberbullying, yeah.
texting, all that stuff. And it's like, you know, and again, this ordinance is not saying that we want to, you know, have a criminal issue here. It's like we're just trying to counsel these kids and hopefully change their ways before it becomes criminal.
Right.
You know?
I agree. I'm so against bullying, and I feel like especially with the cyberbullying and, like you said, the extremes that it causes for some people, it's terrible. But at the same time, I almost feel like if they're initiating this counseling, who's to say, you know, if someone's being bullied or not, or maybe they just don't like the person. Oh, so-and-so's bullying me. Okay, now they're going to get counseled. So now it's almost like a tattletale, and
like, you know,
who's talking about who. So it could get out of hand. However, I think certain measures will have to be taken to make sure that they're only giving counseling to those that really, you know, need it.
I know from talking to some parents who their kids have been bullied seriously, severely, and a lot of times they almost feel like the schools aren't doing enough to come to the defense of the kids who are being bullied. It's almost like the kids who are being bullied have to go to a different school to escape the problem, instead of what should be the opposite, in that the bully should have to, you know, be in trouble, get suspended, whatever it's going to be. You know,
I don't know who the ACLU is trying to protect here, people that bully kids around. But I will say this, you know, here I go back to the olden days. When kids got bullied, or when there was bullying, there were usually different types of consequences. You'd go in the back of the school.
You get whipped.
And there'd be a
Back
fist
in the
fight.
day.
Well,
No,
but
seriously, though.
If somebody was picking on me or I was picking on them, either their bigger friend or they got the courage enough to come up and punch me in the face, or I would do the same. And then you'd move on. But nowadays, in this world of cowardly sending emails and texts and sending these threats with faceless, nameless ways of doing things, you know, it has changed so much.
It's
and then
a
you get
cop-out.
kids, and then you've got the Facebook thing where, you know, you say something bad about me, and then you have 45 of your friends that maybe don't even know me pile on and say, oh, he's a whatever. And then, you know, for fragile kids in their teens or preteen or whatever, it spirals out of control, people start killing themselves or whatever. ACLU, you're wrong.
Yep, I agree.
Bottom line.
Three check pluses again. All right.
Anything to help stop this is productive.
All right, let's head over to Courtney to see what people are saying about online today. People disagreeing, agreeing with ACLU?
They're weighing in about the ordinance and maybe coming up with some other ideas as well. So we will start on our live blog on foxprovidence.com, which is on our homepage. And Anthony says, bullying has always been a problem, even when I went to school back in the 60s. He said, need a 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out approach, suspend, and community service wouldn't be a bad idea either. And Jerry said, it's going to be tough to enforce because we all know how sneaky kids can be. Seems like they are one step ahead of us. Here's the poll right underneath the live blog, and we're asking today, what do you think of the proposed bullying ordinance in East Greenwich? Your choices are A, it could intrude on freedom of speech, B, it could help combat bullying, or C, might work but will be hard to regulate. And we have the full story there right underneath that if you do want to read about that this morning. Our Facebook page has about 8 comments so far, and Aileen Rodriguez says, I think it's great. It will show students that bullying is a serious offense. Donna Stanley said, I think it's a good idea. Parents should accompany their child to these sessions since discipline begins at home. And Marie Terrell echoes this should start in kindergarten. She said, once children understand how conflicts are mediated, they will be on the way to better interpersonal relationships. So if you want to weigh in there, if you're just catching up with us, again, you can read that article and see what this anti-bullying ordinance is all about in East Greenwich.